Have you ever questioned how much control you truly have over your fate? Have you ever felt like no matter how much you try, you're being pulled by forces beyond your understanding, maybe even beyond this lifetime? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we venture into one of the most profound and mysterious aspects of Buddhist cosmology, the concept of the Kalpa. What does it really mean to transcend time? How can understanding Kalpas help us live with more clarity, stability, and wisdom in a chaotic world? At first glance, the terms Kalpa seem abstract and unfathomably long period of time, used in Buddhist texts to describe the rise and fall of worlds. But as Elder Masters' teachings make clear, the true power of understanding Kalpa lies not in measuring epochs, but in recognizing the deep currents of cause and effect that shape not just civilizations, but our daily lives, habits, and thoughts. Understanding the nature of time in the Buddhist context means seeing how we unconsciously carry the momentum of past actions into the present and how we can stop creating future suffering through insight and discipline. Let's start with the traditional metaphor. Imagine a massive stone mountain, 16 miles long, 16 miles wide, and 16 miles high. Once every 100 years, a man comes by and brushes it with a piece of silk. By the time that mountain is completely worn away, one Kalpa will have passed. That is the scale Buddhism offers, not to terrify, but to awaken us. Because what lasts longer than a Kalpa? The consequences of a deluded mind. But the Master always brought these grand concepts back into practical clarity. He once said, "You may not live through a Kalpa, but if your delusions are never addressed, you'll repeat them for one." In this way, the Kalpa is not just cosmic, it is psychological. Every time we indulge in ignorance, hatred, or greed, we extend our own inner Kalpa. Every time we return to mindfulness, wisdom, and compassion, we begin to end it. In one story, a monk approached the elder with despair. He said, "I feel I've wasted my whole life. I'm too old to change." But the Master replied, "You're only caught in the illusion of linear time. Every breath is the beginning of a new Kalpa. If you truly awaken now, you cut through millions of years of delusion." The monk began meditating with renewed purpose, not to accumulate hours, but to end cycles. The Kalpa also teaches us about collective karma. Societies too have their own cycles of growth and decay. The elder would say, "Look at history. Kingdoms rise with virtue and fall with greed. When lies replace truth, when comfort replaces discipline, the Kalpa begins its downward turn." He pointed out that modern societies, despite technology and speed, suffer from a subtle arrogance believing they're above karma, but the laws of cause and effect are as timeless as gravity. Yet there's hope. Just as decline is karmic, so's renewal. The Master emphasized that every collective downturn can be reversed through individual awakening. One candle doesn't erase darkness, he said, but it starts the process. She encouraged practitioners to be that candle, not by preaching, but by embodying Dharma in thought, speech, and conduct, to walk through their Kalpa with grace. The elder often illustrated time's illusory grip with another metaphor, a river that loops endlessly, because it's never guided by will. Most people are like leaves in that river, he said. They think they're moving forward, but really they're circling past habits. Meditation, in this view, becomes the rudder that allows us to steer not by force, but by awareness. In one vivid teaching, he asked his disciples to spend a day in total silence, carrying a pebble in their palm. Every time their mind wandered, they were to squeeze the stone. By sunset, many said their hands ached but their minds were clearer. The pebble became a physical reminder of mental looping. "This is how we shorten the Kalpa," the elder said, "not with dramatic changes, but small moments of returned presence." He also spoke about time sickness, a modern affliction where people feel constant urgency. Always behind, always late, always racing. But where are you running? He asked. What train do you believe you missed? The Kalpa reminds us that life is not a sprint toward enlightenment, but an unraveling of lifetimes of confusion. You don't reach the end by rushing, you get there by stopping. Students were taught to slow their movements, eat mindfully, speak only when necessary. One novice said that during a walking meditation, he noticed for the first time how his shadow changed with each step. That simple observation broke a mental loop he'd carried for years. I always thought change had to be loud, he said, but it's actually quiet. Time becomes sacred when seen this way, not as a threat, but as a mirror. The Kalpa shows us that everything is conditioned, nothing stands alone, nothing remains. Even our pain has a history, and if we examine it without judgment, we begin to write a new future. The Master warned, however, against spiritual escapism. Some people use Kalpa as an excuse, he said. It's my karma, they shrug. But that's laziness in disguise. The Dharma doesn't ask you to tolerate suffering, it invites you to understand and transcend it. Acceptance isn't resignation. It's the soul where transformation begins. This leads to one of his most powerful teachings. End the Kalpa with a bow. He explained that bowing, whether in repentance, reverence, or surrender, is an act of humility that interrupts karmic pride. When you bow, he said, you admit you don't know everything. That softens the mind. That ends the old story. He encouraged daily prostrations not as ritual, but as spiritual physics. Each bow grounds us, returns us, reminds us that the weight of eons can be lifted with one sincere movement. A practitioner once said that after years of mental struggle, it was the act of bowing that finally made her cry, not from sadness, but from release. And yet, the Kalpa is not just about endings. It's about patience. The Master often said, if your path takes lifetimes, so be it. Walk with joy. He told of a turtle that crosses a desert by moving only an inch a day. It may never see the ocean in this life, he said, but its footprints teach others the way. Through storytelling, chanting, discipline, and silence, Elder Master taught that our relationship to time shapes everything. Whether we see this life as a single race, or as one thread in a vast tapestry, determines our peace. Hush, and you panic. Pause, and you see, he said. In closing, the Kalpa is not merely a cosmic measurement, it is a mirror to our choices, a rhythm to our unfolding, and a reminder that while time stretches endlessly, awakening is always now. Every breath is a doorway, every moment a turning point. You are not a prisoner of time, you are its revealer. Thank you for watching this video. If you've experienced personal cycles that feel like lifetimes, share how you're learning to transform them. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and continue this journey with us into the eternal present.